All right, we're live, baby. Cowboys and Coffee's back. Dude, this is the 50th episode for Cowboys and Coffee.
50th.
We made it. 5-0.
And you got your third son, Atlas.
Third son, Atlas, is here.
Yeah.
I'm just letting people know.
It is this addition around here at the Cortez house. All over, we got Spencer with number 4 coming. I'm not going to announce what it is because I really don't know. There's 3 girls there.
Is that public knowledge?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is now. I can't be me when I'm opening my big mouth. 3 with 4 on the road, what is it going to be a junior?
We'll find out.
I don't know.
We're gonna find out.
With Billy Rose's first birthday, we had Billy Rose. Yep.
Yep. So we got him in. We're here. We're here, baby.
Yes,
we're live. So the draft is tomorrow. Tomorrow night, Dallas goes in. There's been a lot of people saying, what's Dallas going to do? They're going to draft the offensive lineman. For what people say such stupid things. Oh, what if the Cowboys traded up for Shador?
Oh, boy.
What if aliens came and abducted all of us? Like, what kind of stupid comment is that? What if the Cowboys traded for the corpse of Walter Payton? Like, what? There, it's the same chances of them trading out for Shador.
The media likes doing all that stuff to make people talk about it.
Every year I hear, Jerry's the wild card. When has Jerry shown you in the draft that he's a wild card?
Not anymore.
The last player he traded up for was Mo Claiborne, which everyone thought was a great thing to trade up for.
In the books, he was the next Dion. Yeah, he was the next Dion. New.
Spencer, I like that, Paul. Hey, Spen, shut up.
Mm-hmm.
So, tomorrow, Cowboys get 1 pick, 12th overall. What did they do at 12?
All right, here we go. Listen up. Pay attention, boys and girls. History. Do we like looking at college players have a little bit of history with injuries?
Yes.
Yes, we do. So, name the 2 linebackers, right?
Jalen Smith, Sean Lee, Bruce Carter,
and the other big fellow, the 6'4", 6'5" guy, number 55.
Oh, from Alabama.
No.
Oh, the big,
what's his name?
Wolf Hunter.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Right?
What's his name?
We picked him. I know, brother. I know. I should have known the players. I forgot. I know exactly where you're gonna go. Yeah.
Vander Esch.
I met him. It was awesome. So we have a history there. There's a tendency for the Cowboys. We won't go to Chuck Howley because somebody else drafted him. The Bears. He had a bad knee. They took care of that. Rest is history. That's number 1. Number 2, they have a need at corner. There's no corner there. They got Elam from the Bears. From the Bills and so forth. But I'm saying Will Johnson's going to be picked.
I think Will Johnson's off the board.
Spencer Lunch and you Lunch. Will Johnson is good because that defensive, he plays off the ball. That's their scheme, off-ball defense at the corner spot. 6'2", beautiful body, awesome, smart, and has a bit of an injury history. Bingo.
So you're at 12 overall.
Yep. And by the way, he's a top 10 pick.
Well,
that dropped.
Yeah.
But he was a top 5 pick.
So I don't see them at 12 making that stretch with injury history. Vander Esch is the only first rounder there, and they did that late in the 20s. The other 3 guys you listed are all second round picks, which is where they take their trigger as Will Johnson falling to the end of the first round. I still think Will Johnson is an excellent football player. I think Pete Schrager, I like Pete Schrager. I just don't think he's good at mock drafting. I think Will Johnson goes. I picked him going to the San Francisco 49ers at 11. I could see a team trading back and getting him at 15 or 16, or a team taking him around there. But, I mean, I don't think he drops past the Commanders. I think late in the draft.
Injury, need pick, checklist, check. And the final thing about Cowboys picks, everybody frowns on them.
Of course.
Everybody.
But I don't think that the need for cornerback is something that you would have to take first round. I mean, if Diggs comes back by week 4, healthy, is Will Johnson starting over Diggs and Bland?
Listen, he's got to go and earn it like
corner,
anybody. Don't get me wrong; he has to earn it. It could be that bad of a camp, but Diggs is not coming back game 4. They're probably the halfway.
Nah, I don't know about all
halfway.
that.
I think it's halfway.
I think you go wide receiver round 1, cornerback round 2, and then running back round 3. So obviously, Ted McMillan is the guy that I want at 12. I don't know that he'll be there. For the last couple of weeks, there's all this talk. Well, he'll drop. He'll be at 16, 17. Like, he's not. I've been on the Ted McMillan bandwagon. I've been driving the bus since the season ended.
Well, I want them to get him. Don't get me wrong. What I want. But I'm going with the Cowboys' tendencies because I know them very well.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I know them very well.
No, you don't.
I know them like I know your mother.
You guys don't even talk to each other.
Like football.
Yeah. The Panthers, as I said a while ago, could take Ted McMillan because they need another weapon. But the Panthers had one of the worst defenses, the worst defense in the NFL last year. And I think that'd be silly to pass up a defender, a defensive end, like Walker or somebody, or Michael Williams. Like some of these guys, they have to put picks on the defense. The Saints could kind of go anywhere. They could go offensive line. They could go receiver. They're so bad in such bad cap shape. They could go any position. Besides like running back, you'd be like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
So do you think that the receiver is a top 10 pick?
Absolutely.
So he's the best receiver in the draft.
Yes. I mean, Travis Hunter technically would probably be the best receiver in the draft.
Right.
But pure receiver, I think Ted McMillan is there. And I think he would be a nightmare matchup with CD on the other end in the red zone because CD gets his towards the goal line as well. Now you have to put a guy who's 6'5" on the other side to guard him.
You don't have to sell me on that guy because I've watched him play. I love him in a cowboy uniform. What number would you give him?
Number 1.
Oh, number 1 would be awesome.
Or number 5.
Number 1, number 5. Even though I can't stand those college stuff. I don't like it. I like new numbers.
Yeah, if
come on, you imagine Dick Bucket's not 51 or Lawrence Taylor not 56? Come on.
So if Ted's not there at 12, my heart is to trade out of the pick. You look at a team like the Seahawks. The Seahawks now have an extra second rounder because of the DK Metcalf trade. So they can trade up from 18 to get perhaps one of the offensive linemen that they want or a defensive playmaker. That from the trade chart, they would have to give up 18 and 50. So their first and second rounder. They'd still have a second rounder. So they'd still have their first rounder, but a better one, and a second rounder. Cowboys drop to 18 and get a second round pick. And then we've talked about who's the next receiver that they take. We're both not sold on Matthew Golden from Texas wide receiver.
No.
I don't think he's a great route runner.
No.
And for someone who has 4.2 speed, there's never any separation.
Smith likes him. The Panthers' old
Steve Smith.
Steve Smith likes him.
He's tough. He makes contested catches, but he never has separation for a guy who runs a 4.2.
He got the same speed Jackson, and Deshaun Jackson ran away from people in college and in the pros.
And he did not impress me. His routes are sloppy. I'm sorry, I'm not taking him unless he's going in and putting the work like CD did to be a route runner. I'm not taking him. If I want a guy who's going to give me yards after catch for receiver, I'd rather take Luther Burden. From Missouri, if I want a guy who will block for me and be an excellent route runner, I'm trading down and taking Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State.
Well, I saw on one of the shows there, they're talking to a couple Steelers reporters, and they're saying that the Steelers might be thinking about getting rid of Pickens, get him to the Cowboys for the 12th pick, so they can get. I forgot who they were saying they were going to get. I can't remember.
Is it Shador? They're drafting the quarterback at 12?
Yes, 12. Yeah.
So here's the thing: if I'm the Cowboys, Pickens is not worth the 12th pick. It has to be. I'll flip 12 to 20, and Pickens is the difference there, but he's not worth the 12th pick overall because, if he's Justin Jefferson, I'll do that. If he's a top 5 or even a top 10 receiver in the NFL, sure, but I have to deal with makeup issues with his mental makeup and worried about whether or not he's going to go off on the sideline if he's not getting the ball or whether he's going to play hard. I'm not giving up a first-round pick for a guy who's not the number 1 receiver.
I wonder what the percentage is the trade out of the pick. So you're going to call half a dozen teams? You call 3 teams? Okay, there's no trading out of the pick. Who are they picking?
If Ted McMillan is there, they take Ted. Excuse me. If Ted McMillan and They say Tet and Ashton Ginty are not there. What I think they will do is draft Matthew Golden if they cannot trade out of the pick. If you had to, go ahead.
So here, well, I'm going to go back to two guys who are talking about the left tackle for the Ohio State team,
Josh Simmons, which some people have him as the best.
Right. And I watched tape of him. He's smooth as butter. He really is. He is smooth as there can be.
The injury history, but then again, we know that doesn't necessarily.
Because I think Shoddy,
Cowboys.
Coach Shoddy, is building like the Detroit Lions. He's going to get the best offensive line. That's the other problem with the Cowboys. Corner, no second corner, and the offensive line is big.
I'm not as worried about the Cowboys.
Smith is the only one. Who's their center?
Cooper Beebe.
Yeah, Cooper Beebe. Okay, second year. He had a decent first year.
But
they were talking about moving him, see?
Right. Well, until they got in, and then they said they're not moving him now. So you have him. You have Bass and Hoffman fight it out for guard, and Hoffman played pretty well at guard last year. Steele at right tackle, Guyton at left tackle, with a new offensive line coach, a new offensive coordinator with Clayton Adams, who is by trade offensive line coach. I think it plays much more to their skills, especially with a guy like Tyler Guyton, who can move and get out in space and block. I'm not drafted, and they've signed a couple of linemen. They also have Asim Richards. I'm not drafting a lineman.
Right.
I'm not doing it when there's other greater positions of need, when you have guys who just need to improve. You've invested the assets. Now utilize the assets. That's the big problem. Their offensive line coach last year, Mike Solari, should be sent off to a penal colony in Siberia. Never heard from him again.
We said at the beginning, I said, who's the coach?
He got to go to jail.
No, there was nothing on his resume.
He should be put in I
don't even know where he came from. It doesn't matter. He's gone.
Yeah, thank God.
These two guys, what we have, Adams, who's going to be the coordinator.
The offensive coordinator.
Yeah, those guys will influence that offensive line. They'll play better.
They're going to pull. They're going to trap.
Right.
Which means you need a running back who can see the holes. Someone like Damian Martinez in the third round, for me, who can break it, who has the vision to do that.
Will Johnson.
If the Cowboys were to trade back and obtain a second rounder, I could then see taking a first round pick. Ashton Ginty, if he's taken top 10, he would be, I believe, the sixth highest paid running back in the NFL next year. There's no value in taking a first round running back. And you could say, oh, well, Ginty is going to be offensive rookie of the year for a bad football team.
And that's the other really address issue, the number one thing in this draft. They got people to play corner. They've got people to play offensive line. They don't really have a legit running back.
No.
They have players that they're not old. Sanders has had his time. He's coming. He's still and Williams. We get that. But this is what it cost us 2 years ago.
So if you go receiver in the first round, either Ted McMillan or Golden, and second round you come back with Travion Henderson or even Judkins from Ohio State, there's your starter. The third round you pick a D tackle like Alfred Collins. I think D tackle and running back are the two positions you double dip on this year. I think you take a running back round 2 and then either round 5 or round 6.
So from
Rashard Smith from SMU.
Pick 13 to 32nd. How many running backs there? And then the next 11. So those picks, how many running backs are going?
Yeah, I could see that. There's still plenty. I mean, I'm not a huge Kim Scatterbo fan.
Hampton's going. Gentry's going to the Raiders.
With this offense,
that's only guaranteed pick. Maybe Cleveland pick is a guarantee.
My issue with Cam Scatterbo is that he doesn't have breakaway speed. But with this style offense, it might be a good fit for him to take him in the third round and have him be your starting running back. He's got vision. He's tough.
Listen, let me explain.
I prefer my running backs to have breakaway speed.
That's all right. He's a slow white boy, period. Sorry. He had a good college career.
I think double dipping at running back, Rashard Smith later in the 5th or 6th round. Another one, I think double dipping at D tackle. Give me Alfred Collins, D tackle from Texas in the 3rd round, and Nazir Stackhouse in the 6th or 7th.
I like the Collins guy. Now, I'm not. I do college history on D tackles and certain players and certain schools. I stay away from him. I might, because he's 350.
Is he that big?
I think he's that big. I think he's a big boy. If I remember right. I think he's that big. Yeah.
He's 6'5", probably 330, 320.
Right. Yeah, I think he's a big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6'6",
332.
330. Yeah, he's not small.
Yeah.
See, I would take him early, and then I would double
Wow.
back with Nazir Stackhouse from Georgia later. I wouldn't let Nazir Stackhouse drive me to the movies, but I'd probably draft him 6'4", 320, and your interior is stout again.
Yeah.
Right, and you've already re-signed your 3 technique. That's what I would do. I think
Will Johnson. Injury, need, and then drive everybody crazy. Plus, the flip side is he was a top 5 pick at one time. For some reason, he dropped. He was a top 5 pick among many pro scouts.
Yeah, there's been some talk about Tyler Booker. Spence said Tyler Hamilton later rounds, elect from Ohio State. I could see him. Tyler Booker, who is an absolute road grader, had a perhaps one of the worst RASs for a high-end pick. His athlete score. He's not a good athlete. He's not good in space. He's not a good fit for this offensive scheme.
Right.
I wouldn't take him. Do I think he'll be a good offensive lineman? Yeah, I do, but not in this system. I think you'd be wasting the pick on a Tyler Booker. Not that I don't think he's a good player, but if you have a guy who's a bad athlete at a non-premier position, if I'm drafting Zach Martin, I'll take him. If I'm not drafting Zach Martin, I'm not taking a guard that high.
Here's another question. Here's another one. The Missouri tackle, is he top 10?
Oh, without question. Oh,
okay, so he's going to slide in.
Herman Membo is going
there's one quarterback.
7 or 8.
Right. There's one quarterback in the top 10 going. Receiver top 10? Maybe.
So Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter.
Right.
So those are your top 3 picks, right?
Yeah.
Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter. So really it's 4 through 10. What are your
4
picks?
through 10.
I think
Warren's going to go there.
Will Campbell is definitely going. And Armand Membu is going. Both of those lines.
They're going to go. We were hoping they go to Jacksonville and Carolina.
Yeah, I think Will Campbell goes to the Patriots because they the offensive line.
Yeah.
And in my mock draft I had, which is on designatorreport.com, you can find my first round mock draft. I have the Jets taking Armand Membo 7th overall. Jacksonville taking Mason Graham at 5, another bad defensive team. Vegas takes Ashton Jeanty at 6.
Yeah, the Jets, that's a good pick, yeah.
The Raiders I could see trading out of this pick because they do have a lot of holes. They wisely got Geno Smith and extended him, so they're going to have the best quarterback play they've had there for some time. A legitimate quarterback. I mean, last year was just an embarrassment what they had.
Simmons goes there, 10. He goes there.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. They could use an edge rusher. Simmons could go. The Saints could take Josh Simmons too.
Yeah.
You know, Kelvin Banks is there to go. Like, there's a lot of good tackles.
Yeah.
The Panthers, I think, take Jalen Walker or should because, you know, Dan Morgan is their GM, the former linebacker.
Okay, yeah, he's going to go.
I think their defense is so bad. I cannot imagine Dan
so
Morgan.
They're going with players at GMs now. That's a trend, huh?
Yeah, they're working their way up and working their way in.
Yeah, whatchamacallit did a great job with the 49ers.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think the 49ers window is closed for now. Because they still haven't re-signed Brock Purdy to a long-term deal.
Mm.
So they also are in the same vein as the Cowboys as not getting player contracts done early. George Kittle, they haven't re-signed to a contract extension.
Really?
They've you know, it happens. The window is open and you sign the guys and then the window closes and you have to kind of replenish. They're in that same field. The Dolphins at 13 are going to take, man, they need offensive and defensive line help. If I have Kelvin Banks going to them at 13, if they don't pick him, they're insane. I had Tyler Warren going to the Saints at 9. But again, they could go everybody. Ariante Sari, yeah. He's from Minnesota. He's good too.
So
second rounder.
Warren is a top 10 pick. Missouri guy's top 10 pick.
Yes.
And Will Campbell, top 10.
I have 11.
Right.
Wait, Will Campbell.
Tackle.
Yeah, they'll tackle. Fourth for the Patriots.
So there's 7 picks left. One of them is a quarterback. There's 6 picks left.
Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter.
All right. So that's 4 left, right?
Who does Jacksonville and the Raiders take? Who do the Saints and Bears take? Bears, I don't think they're not taking a wide receiver because.
So that means 4 picks are left. We all agree that those
and the 49ers are before them too.
But I'm saying that there's 6 people picked that are not a receiver. The rest of them, or who are top 10. Simmons a top 10 pick. Is he the best left tackle? The Missouri's up there. Missouri guy.
I think Kelvin Banks is there too, the tackle from Texas. I think he's perhaps one of the better offensive tackles there too. To me, it's very obvious who the top 10, 12 players are. And after that, there seems to be a fall off from who's available and who's there. That's just me. What do I know besides?
Well, that's what I'm saying about
everything.
Figuring out those picks will be gone. They will be gone. Missouri guy and Campbell's going to be gone. Hunter's gone. Ward is gone. Those guys are legit gone.
Who tries to make a trade up to get their guy? And does anyone try and jump ahead of Dallas to get not necessarily Dallas's guy, but their own guy? Do the Denver Broncos, who have talked about jumping all the way up to 5 to trade with Jacksonville, there's been talks about them mortgaging this year, next year's draft to get to 5.
Okay.
And right now the Broncos are drafting 20.
Are the Giants going to go Sanders?
No,
because that's the only place he's going to go.
He's going. They're going Abdul. They're crazy if they take Shedeur over Abdul Carter.
Right. They're crazy. Where else Sanders can go?
I think I have him drop to the Steelers. Steelers at 21. Pick him.
Who's their quarterback? The Steelers.
Mason Rudolph.
Oh, he's not staying there. There's no way.
Or do they take Jackson Dart? Today on ESPN they're asking. They're talking about who's the number 2 quarterback. Is it Shedeur or is it Jackson Dart? And Dion was upset and was like, "Oh, F you guys," because I thought we were friends. Like, guys, if these guys can't, Emmanuel Akko was talking about it. He's like, Dion, if I can't, he goes, I'm just asking a question. What do people think? If I can't legitimately do my job, what am I doing on here? And he made a great point. I don't agree with everything he says, but if Dion's going to get upset because someone's just asking, is he the number 2 quarterback? Dude, get out of here. Kick rocks. So do the Broncos trade up to try and get a running back in Ashton Ginty? And does that force other teams to take someone else to take Omari and Hampton because they're not going to be able to get, those are the top 2 running backs in the draft. Is someone else, is there a run? Do people start to make a run early? I think Ted McMillan falls to the Cowboys at 12. I think it's possible. And then I have Matthew Golden actually going 22 to the Chargers. So we'd have him and Ladd McConkey, speed all over the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, and I think their offensive line stinks. That's why
they've picked up a couple guys on their offensive line. The Bears?
Yeah.
So
because their defensive front is actually pretty decent.
They don't really have off the edge. So now they got Joe Thuney off the edge and Jonah Jackson and Braxton Jones as their left tackle. They picked all these guys up to rebuild the offensive line.
Yeah, but look at the D.
Yeah, they have Montez Sweat.
Yeah, they had a D.
Odiengo had 3 sacks last year. That's not good enough. They got Grady Jarrett.
Yeah.
And Gervon Dexter Sr. Those are good D tackles. You put another DN with Sweat and Jarrett.
What did he get for?
Last year he had 5.5 sacks last year. But I still think you go ahead and draft the pass rusher that you think you're going to need. Pass rushers cover a multitude of sins. Kyler Gordon, Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, Jaquan Brisker, Kevin Byard III. I don't think they're drafting anyone in the secondary. You got Tremaine Edwards and TJ Edwards as a linebacking core.
Will Johnson.
They're not drafting a cornerback. They're not drafted. They have cornerbacks. Jalen Johnson.
I got to repeat it. Will Johnson. Will Johnson. Injury, need, potential top 5 pick. People frown on it. It's all the checklist. It's a checklist. He's going to get checked out. Yep.
No, I think the 49ers could take him at the spot. I really think
the other draft has them. Yeah.
So he is a defensive player. They need to replenish the defense and see what happens there. It's who knows, right? Let's say the Cowboys draft a wide receiver at 1. What do you do on day 2 in rounds 2 and 3? Who are you going after? Who would you draft?
All right, rounds 2, and they got the receiver, right?
Let's say round 1 they get the receiver.
I have to get a running back.
Yeah.
And the first 2 rounds are needs, and you have to get starter. You got to get a running back who is 21 years old, can carry the ball 30 times a game, and has breakaway speed. I like the guy from Iowa.
Yeah, Caleb Johnson is a good fit for this offense because he's a good zone running back. Spencer said the Niners need a wide receiver bad too. They just drafted a wide receiver in the first round last year.
Yeah.
You draft Pearsall because you know Debo's leaving and Ayuk's coming off injury. I'm not drafting 2 years in a row young receivers who are going to be my third receiver.
But they might do that.
But they have so many other needs, and that offense isn't predicated.
You know, it's funny with the first round. The first round, I know you draft need, but it's something that your philosophy, what you believe in first, over the need.
Yeah, but
that's why
have receivers.
That's why I think that defensive coordinator for the Cowboys has an influence on that pick.
I mean,
Johnson plays off the ball.
They already have cornerbacks.
And he's a good tackler.
Yeah, they have no receiver.
Lunches for this guy and Spencer.
Yeah, there's
lunches.
There's 5 offensive linemen
but I hope
that can play
receiver.
Spencer. Yeah. Spencer said the 49ers drafted D linemen in the top 10 like 8 years in a row. There's 4 defensive line positions to play. There's 2 receivers or 3, and you're not investing draft capital into a third receiver, at least not first round draft capital, unless you're a team like the Eagles who, right, they're so loaded they could afford to pick a receiver there. The 49ers drafting 11th, they have holes, legitimate holes, especially on that defense. They've been killed by injuries and free agency and stuff like that. You have McCaffrey coming back, Purdy coming back, Kittle coming back. You know, you have Pearsall and you have Ayuk. They could draft offensive line. Trent Williams is very old.
Yeah.
It might be his last year. If I'm them, I would not have a problem pulling the trigger on a Kelvin Banks or another offensive lineman or offensive tackle. Josh Simmons there, I wouldn't have a problem for it. D-line, you need 2 D tackles, 2 D ends. You have to have pass rushers and have to have a lot of them. So I think their defensive need and the ability of people to be there, like a Will Johnson, could have them.
So there's 3 teams can pick the receiver. McMillan.
Some people say Jacksonville. I don't see it.
Jacksonville.
But they just drafted Brian Thomas Jr. last year.
Yeah.
They have no defense.
Right.
Now this is what I like to say every single year about the draft. Somebody does something stupid.
Okay. Who will be the stupid one this year?
Who does the stupid thing?
Who do we hope does the stupid thing in front of us? Who's that?
Jacksonville. I think the first 4 picks are pretty well lined up. Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Will Campbell. Would we get a surprise where the Giants take Shedeur? I don't see it, but man, they would rock. I mean, who's your third quarterback then? Because you have Russ, Jameis, and then you'd have Shedeur. Who's QB3?
Oh boy.
Because the thing, and the Steelers did this last year, if you have a young quarterback, you need to give him reps because that's how they improve.
Sanders has to go to the Steelers.
The Steelers I don't think the Steelers have any choice. I think they have to trade up.
Yeah.
If they think they're still in contention, you can't roll a season with Mason Rudolph and think you're any more than an 8 or 9 win team. And that's generous.
Who's the running backs?
They have Jalen Warren. Najee's a free agent.
Right. Warren was pretty good, right?
He was splitting, splitting reps. We'll see what he is.
I thought it was decent. Yeah.
See what he is on his own.
Yeah.
So what happens next to these guys? What do the Steelers do to address it? In my mock draft, I didn't do any trades. I know there will be trades. I think we're going to be shocked with 2 or 3 trades in the first round. I think we will have 2 or 3 substantial trades. I wish Dallas was part of one of those. If Ted McMillan is gone, T-Mac is off the board, I wish him luck. But I'm looking to trade out.
Well, it'd be nice if we knew somebody knew what was going on there and gave us some inside scoop on this. But no, things have to change and people got to move on.
We'll see.
Whatever.
We'll see.
But anyways, yeah, like inside trading stuff. It happens all the time. The Republicans, politicians get this all the time. You know what I mean? So
it's incredible to see, though, that there's still people like flying up and down the board. James Pierce Jr., the edge from Tennessee, ended the season as a top 10 pick at the end from Tennessee. But he has such character red flags that he's not going around one. He lost himself millions of dollars. Mike Green could also be in that. I think Mike Green will go for edge from Marshall in the first round. It's intriguing to see what guys are flying up the boards. I think Derek Harmon, the D tackle from Cincinnati, the D tackle from Oregon, goes to Cincinnati. They basically telegraph their picks. They let you know who they're picking. They're going to draft the D tackle there because they've spent enough assets on the offense. They need to just draft defense.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
The Colts, I have them picking Colston Loveland. There's people here who have him as the number 1 tight end in the draft, and they're going to take him.
I'm not into Michigan tight ends.
Yeah.
No. I didn't like that pick when we picked those, whatchamacallit.
Spencer said Philly will take Pierce Jr. to join their scumbag club in the locker room.
Yeah.
I think the team to watch out for to trade up are the Philadelphia Eagles. They have a lot of draft assets. They don't have a lot of spaces to put these players. They're going to make a move, and it will be I think they can make a big move. They're picking 32, obviously, but I could see them if one of these guys falls who we think is super talented. I mean, could you imagine Tyler Warren there? You could trade up 13 to 26, 32 to 16.
Yeah, anything they do turns to gold. That's the way it goes. They got it. They got it. We had it 35 years ago. Now we ain't got whatever now.
Yeah.
I won't say the word.
I think
we ain't got
it. If someone like Jalen Walker falls or Michael Williams, they have the draft capital to do it. I think that's what
we have 10 picks in the draft.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Eagles have 20 picks in the next 2 drafts.
Wow. Brilliant.
So they have 3.
That's what I'm saying. They've been setting themselves up.
Yep. They've got 1st, 2nd, 3rd. They've got 4 5ths this year. They've got 3 3rds next year.
Wow.
Like
3 3rds,
3 5ths, 2 4ths next year.
Wow.
I think those are
genius.
And again, you don't have a ton of holes right now. So you could use higher end talent. You do whatever you can to move up and take the better talents rather than waiting for falls to you.
Listen, they're overrated quarterback. They won the Super Bowl. What can I tell you?
Yeah, Spencer said at 9 the Saints have a big decision to make. Right, Carr won't be back this year, most likely a shoulder injury. They restructured his cap to be able to let him go next year. Do they go Sanders or Dart, and do teams anticipate that to jump them?
Well, if Dart is picked before his son, if Dart gets picked before Sanders, I think ESPN and others will be very, very upset.
They will.
The NFL Network will be, oh boy.
They will make it.
We're going. Ryan Clark. Yeah.
No, never a race issue, but they'll make it a race issue if Jackson Dart goes before Shedeur. I think that not everybody, but there will be plenty of people who let us know it's because Jackson Dart was white. Can you imagine Deion Sanders being your dad and not being a good athlete? I couldn't imagine being your son and not being a good athlete. Come on, what are you talking about?
Yeah, who's that?
And now we're talking about Deion Sanders, your dad. You're not a good athlete.
I know. Please.
And I forgot who was it. Who said Deion Shedeur is not a good athlete? I think he had 50 total rushing yards last year.
Yeah, and the other son ran a 4.5.
Shiloh is not a good football player.
No, Shiloh does not have NFL body.
He might not even be picked. I mean, he's 7th rounder if that.
He ain't get drafted.
Yeah.
Petite.
The thing is,
He hasn't played like the Danbury Vikings tackle.
He's
Tackles
not
like the
good,
Vikings.
and he comes with the Sanders baggage.
Yeah.
Do I really want that out of a 7th rounder? I don't. Shador, oh well, what are his interviews like? Well, if you're not going to be elite at what you're doing, he's a first round graded. I think he's a first round quarterback. I think Shador is tough in the pocket. I think he'll stand in and make the throw. He played behind a sieve of an offensive line last year, but I think he can hold the ball too long, and he is a little risky with the football. He's accurate but risky, which in the NFL, it's inches away from interception and complete versus completed. It also helps when you're throwing the ball to the best athlete in college football at the time for much of it. So that's why I don't think if he was in the draft last year, he's not going before Bo Nix or any of those other guys, certainly in that top of the draft. I think he's worth a first rounder. I may not have a first round grade on him, but he's going to go in the first round this year.
It is the most difficult position to evaluate in the next level. How about Kirk Cousins and RG3? The drafting of that, and then look at the career. Now RG ran the football. He ran and got hurt. I get it, but his throwing motion was horrible.
Right, the wind up and then
it was horrible. Kirk Cousins had a great career besides last year. I know his record and
his career.
Right, he's made
the all-time secure the bag Mount Rushmore guaranteed contract.
It's $100 million easy, right?
Talking probably closer to $200 million.
Yeah, it's I think that $100 million was the guarantee besides the salary. I think that he made $100 million guaranteed.
Career earnings for Kirk Cousins, $294 million.
Well, whoever think that close to $300 million he made in his career.
And this year he's due another 27.
Yeah, it's $300 million. Yep.
And next year he's due 35, and the year after.
Shut your mouth. No. He's gonna make close to $350 million.
God bless his agent. I just wish all I would want was to be the agent for Kirk Cousins.
And I remember when they drafted him, and like, you're crazy. Look what they did. They drafted another quarterback, and the head coach knew what he was doing.
He's 37 years old. He's no spring chicken.
He's 37, yeah.
He's still in the league.
He's a pretty funny guy.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy.
Said Kirk Cousins and Chandler Parsons must have the same agent.
Yeah.
If I'm the Cowboys, this is ideal for me. This is perfect, best case scenario. You take your wide receiver round 1, Ted McMillan. Round 2, you take either Benjamin Morrison, cornerback from Notre Dame, or Siobhan Ravel Jr., cornerback from East Carolina.
So let's go back. How many corners will drop? How many corners from 13 to the second round?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's tough to be able.
There's a lot of good. The guy from Notre Dame is very good,
and he has an injury. He's been injured. And I believe the Cowboys doctors did his surgery too. So that second round is where they make those picks, where they think a guy has a higher grade or could have gone in the first round but for an injury. That's it. Third round, you take a running back, whether it's Caleb Johnson or Damian Martinez. And that's what I think that, to me, if you walked out of day 2 with those 3 positions filled, you're in good shape.
I would take the South Dakota guy if he falls, but I wouldn't take Hampton at 12.
South Dakota?
Whatever his name is.
Ashton Jeanty.
Yeah.
Boise State.
I got it. Boise State.
Yeah.
I would take him.
You would take him at 12?
Yeah.
Not paying that much money to a running back. I'm not going to, so quit asking about it.
That's your philosophy.
You have to build a roster.
Yeah, that's your philosophy.
What's his second contract? Is he going to be the same player for the second contract, the elite running back? And then
who drafts second contracts?
Do I want this player on my team long term, or you have to think long term? Do I want this player on my team for 10 years, or do I want this player on my team for 4 years? If Ted McMillan and Ashton Jeanty are there,
doesn't matter the round, or you draft him a third round. It's the same philosophy.
Yeah, but I'm not investing that much money into him a third round, and he's gone in 3 years, and I just draft another third round running back next year.
You're going to look at it as like your mother, financially, even buying a burger and French fries.
You have to
Give me
get
a
value.
freaking break.
You have to get value.
Give me the player
out of it.
I want the player. As Jimmy Johnson said, give me the player, get the player.
You're not going to
Smash
spend.
mouth football. Dak throwing the ball 25 a game.
Who is he throwing at 225 a game? Who is he throwing
They can get
it
a second
to?
round pick. They can get a second round receiver.
Name a good second round receiver.
The guy from Texas TCU, 6'5" guy.
Jack Beck. Name the less. Let's see.
Yeah. TCU receiver, 6'5". I think he's at Williams. Yeah.
Let's see. Draft history. Second round receivers. Keon Coleman, Ladd McConkey. Okay, you got one. Jalen Polk, Adonai Mitchell. So I got one guy who's good. Second round, Jonathan Mingo, Jaden
Great.
Reed,
He was great.
Rasheed Rice. You got
No, we
two.
have him now, don't we?
Yeah, Jonathan Mingo.
Oh, so we got one.
Congratulations.
Yep.
2022, Christian Watson, Wan'Dale Robinson, Johnny Mechie, Tyquan Thornton, George Pickens. So you got one. You've got one each year. 2021, Rondale Moore, Dwayne Eskridge, Tutu Atwell, Terrence Marshall, Josh Palmer. 2020, T. Higgins is the last legit. Michael Pittman, Laviska Shenault, KJ Hamler, Chase Claypool. Man, what a bum Chase Claypool is, huh? He called himself
What is it?
Chase Claypool.
Oh, yeah.
Called himself Mapletron.
Yeah.
Because he's from Canada.
Yeah.
He stinks.
Yeah.
Savion Williams, Spence says.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, Savion Williams.
Yeah.
He's another
I'll
big
take him.
guy. Yeah. I don't know that I want him as I would rather my elite receiver prospect and a second round running back or third round running back rather than an elite running back prospect and a second or third round wide receiver.
Well, I'm changing the league because I want my safeties to be 6'7", 6'8". So I want my receivers to be 6'5".
Fine. But your
That
receivers
can run.
then get Ted McMillan at 12. What are you doing? Ted McMillan's your guy
But this
then.
is second round. I reversed the priority.
Well, you're a stupid idiot. So there. I love you, but wide receivers don't grow on trees. Elite receivers don't grow on trees. They do not.
Well, this year is not there's not a lot of great receivers in the league this year. You got 3 or 4 top, the rest of them are average.
Let's see. Wide receiver position this year. Right? Cooper Kupp, who's injured, Devontae Adams. And look at the money you're having to pay these guys when they become free agents. $22 million, $21 million. And Cooper Kupp is injured. Let's go back a year before, 2024. Wide receiver, Calvin Ridley, Darnell Mooney, Gabriel Davis. You re-sign your receivers. You draft them and keep them. 2023, Alan Lazard, Jacoby Myers, DeAndre Hopkins, the ghost of DeAndre Hopkins, Juju Smith-Schuster. 2022, let's see again. Christian Kirk, who was so grossly overpaid.
Oh, wow.
By the
What
4
a-
years, $72 million.
What a joke that is. That's another one.
Allen
overrated.
Robinson, Russell Gage.
And,
Let's
and
do
Robinson had a
2021.
couple good years, and then he got paid at the end. It was ridiculous.
2021, Kenny Galladay, 4 years,
Where's
$72
he?
million. He's
Where's
not
he?
in the league.
He's not even.
Corey Davis. You
Shut your mouth.
don't
He's not in the
sign
league.
Receivers. You draft them. 2020, Randall Cobb, Emmanuel Sanders,
Oh, Randall.
Robbie Anderson, Free People, whatever his name is now.
Yeah.
2019, Tyrell Williams, Golden Tate, Adam Humphries. These are the best free agent signings. Antonio Brown. Good luck. The ghost of Antonio Brown. 2018, Sammy Watkins, Allen Robinson again, Paul Richardson. Guys,
Paul Richardson.
right.
How much he made?
Yeah. He made 2018. Paul Richardson, 5 years, $40 million.
And what's it? Did he ever catch 40 balls in a year? I don't think he's ever had 40 balls in a year. There's no way.
Paul Richardson,
There's no way he had 40 balls in a year.
he has got 44
There you go.
and 700 yards.
Wow.
That
That's
was
it.
then he signed with the Redskins off that
Yeah.
and went 20 and 262.
Well, he had 44 with 16 yards. That's pretty decent numbers, right?
You
But that's
signed
it.
someone with that
44
money.
catches. Wow.
2017.
That
Pierre
took that
Garçon,
money.
Robert
Gone,
Woods.
baby. You signed that contract. Bye.
The last time we're trying to find the last time
Marvin Jones,
Muhammad Sanu, Travis Benjamin.
Those guys.
2016. Let's go back 2015. Jeremy Maclin, Torrey Smith, the ghost of Andre Johnson going to the Colts.
Remember that?
Dwayne Harris. I'm still trying to find a legitimate wide receiver free agent. Eric Decker. There. That's probably the last one.
Eric
and
Decker.
Golden Tate.
Wow.
2014, Emmanuel Sanders. Now that was a steal. That 2014 has been over a decade since a wide receiver made a legitimate impact as a free agent. Ted Ginn Jr., man.
How many teams was he on? 4?
Ted Ginn Jr.
14.
was on more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams. And he made a cool $40 million.
He made $40 million? Wow.
So you draft your wide receivers. You draft your wide receivers early and keep them in town. You sign running backs. And you want to know proof that you can sign running backs? Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry were free agents last year. You could have signed them. They were begging. Derrick Henry was buying.
2 organizations that did not sign them, and you couldn't get any more of a moron general manager.
Now look at the
The
Giants.
Eagles lucked out everywhere you went, they lucked out big time.
They make smart decisions. They built the rest of the roster, and then they signed the running back. They didn't draft a running back first in the first round, did they? They draft one. Not since Shady McCoy. They filled it in with, bits and pieces there. What put them over the top? Free agent signing at running back, because that's what you do. You're going to sign a free agent who's similar in price to a rookie, but if you already know he's elite and you've already built the roster around him, why draft a running back if your roster isn't fit? It's CeeDee Lamb and me and you, Jonathan Mingo and Jalen Tolbert are your 2 and 3. Come on,
First rounders. Yeah.
Got to take your wide receiver in the first round. Then you can go anywhere else.
And if he's not there, where are you going?
Gonna die.
What are you gonna do if he's not there?
You trade out of the pick. You pray that George Pickens is available.
Yeah.
You take the Steelers first and second George
when
Pickens.
You say trade out,
they're gonna go if he's not there. They will pick Matthew Golden.
Right.
They're gonna pick Golden.
They're gonna go Golden. Yeah.
If
Golden is their golden boy. Yeah.
If Ted is not there, I think they take Ted McMillan.
I want to take Ted. We're going to take Will Johnson.
No, they're not.
I told you. Injury, need. The defensive coordinator plays his style off the ball and is a great against the run. Bingo.
I don't know if the Cowboys even had him as a 30 visit. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think they had him as a 30 visit.
Wow, that's something, huh?
Did I tell you that, Jack?
The reason why? Because the doctor worked on him. So who that? Okay, Gordon. And let's see what else. Yeah, quarterback.
They're not going to take a quarterback in this draft, right? Because they traded for Joe Milton, which I think was a phenomenal
okay,
trade.
TCU boy. I kind of like him.
Samuel Williams, Alfred Collins, I've started to see drop in some of the big boards. I think Mel Kiper Jr. started to drop him down to the hundreds, 130th overall because of some injury concerns, which makes me think Dallas is definitely going to snag him in the 3rd round.
I know Tutu is pretty fast.
Yeah.
Tutu. He's pretty fast. I've seen him play.
By Tuten?
Yeah.
Tuten?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh, there you go. You didn't have to come in because they knew.
What do you think the Ravens will pick? Kia Riley, what do you think the Ravens will pick at 27? I did the mock draft, and in my mock draft, I have them picking James Pierce Jr., the D end from Tennessee. I think.
Do they ever get it wrong, the Ravens?
No.
They never get it wrong.
I think they need another good edge rusher. He has to go to a team with a strong leadership structure and who's done this before. And John Harbaugh and the Ravens organization, if anyone can fix them, it's him. He's undersized. He's only 245.
Right.
But he can rush the quarterback. Right. If they can help him off the field he can be a steal of the draft on the field if he can figure it out. That's a lot of issues. That's the issue for a lot of players in the NFL is can they mature and be men?
Do the Ravens get in trouble? I don't remember anybody going over.
Ray Lewis helped kill a guy.
But that's yeah. He didn't help.
He helped the guy get away.
Well, he gave him a ride.
I mean, he wasn't driving Uber.
Right.
He was, he was in. I don't think he shot the guy. He just got his buddy away. Spencer, I'll take Jameson Williams. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna trade to 28 with the Lions and drop and try and take. If I'm going to 28 with the Lions, I need a first, a second, and Jameson Williams. And I think 28 is just too far. I want to make sure I get one of those wide receivers, Emeka Egbuka or any of those guys. I personally wouldn't mind Luther Burden because this offense is predicated on yards after catch, which is a perfect fit for CD. And get someone like Luther Burden who can get the ball and continue to move with it. I wouldn't be upset with that either. So I wouldn't take Luther Burden at 12. I'm definitely trying to drop out of that pick. I do think there are going to be plenty of teams who will want to move up to 12 to get someone, whether it be one of those offensive tackles or a quarterback.
If I can get the Steelers to get Pickens and their pick,
it'd be tough to pass up because you get your wide receiver too.
Yeah.
You can at 20 or 20, 21,
22,
if,
21.
21. If Amarian Hampton's on the board at 21 and you've already addressed wide receiver, no problem. Taking your running back there.
That's jumping up and down.
Then round 2, give me a cornerback.
Yeah.
Round 3, give me a D tackle, and we're all set, baby. We're good.
See, I don't think Lamar Jackson's overrated. I know he didn't bring the playoff game home. We're saying interception or fumble, whatever.
You want him to make Mark Andrews catch the ball?
Right. And that was the play rate there with all.
Look at your phone. Go ahead.
As far as that goes.
You were saying he's not overrated, but what about it?
I think the Eagles quarterback is overrated.
People are saying Jalen Hurts is a top 4 quarterback in the NFL.
No,
he's not. He's not better than Lamar. He's not better than Mahomes. He's not better than Joe Burrow, and he's not better than Josh Allen. They don't make it seem like he's some mega star. He's a phenomenal quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he stinks. That's silly. He's a Super Bowl MVP. Played well in the last Super Bowl, but. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Well, we got some Denver people shooting out for us, starting out,
yeah. I've been talking to Cowboys like Walter Nolan, the D tackle from Ole Miss.
No. How many do we look up? Any guys from Georgia? I like the Georgia guys.
Yeah. Well, you have Jalen Walker, who can play perhaps an edge rusher, off-ball linebacker. Yeah. He's the one who actually reminds me more of Micah, but Micah's more physical than him. Nakia said, whoever gets Josh Simmons from Ohio State will get a steal. He's coming off of injury. That's what we've been saying.
Yep.
And the Cowboys, they have said, are interested in, they're enamored by him. The thing is, are you going to move Guyton to right tackle? And then what happens with Steele? You keep him as a backup? He's a starting caliber tackle. I'm not saying he's a great offensive tackle, but he's a starting caliber one. You trade him. What do you do with him? That's my opinion. Josh Simmons, absolutely. If he's healthy, I think Josh Simmons would have been the top pick, the top pick tackle or offensive lineman. I think Will Campbell from the Patriots will go to the Patriots. Josh Simmons would have been a top 10 pick if he's not hurt and doesn't miss that much time, which leads you into how much does it matter if the guy gets hurt. If in the pros, he'll be okay. Go ahead. What do you got?
Well, that's the thing. We're going to find it out on the philosophy of this whole thing. This draft, this thing, and you debate around the table of who you believe in. I hope they get the receiver. If not, I'm going to stick with my guns. I think the receiver is gone, personally. I think one of those teams are going to pick the receiver. Jacksonville, Carolina are going to pick them.
Well,
because they need. I think maybe Sanders goes to the Saints. I think
they have. Here's let's see Saints depth chart without Derek Carr quarterback. they are rolling in with Spencer Rattler and Jake Hayner at quarterback and Ben DiNucci. That's not good. They're in cap hell. Are you going to guarantee that they're going to have are they tanking? What you could do is, you have your head coach for the future. You tank this year, you run with Spencer Rattler and Jake Hayner, and then you take Arch Manning first overall next year. That's what you do with them. Spencer said, who cares what you do with Guyton, with Steele? He's peaked, and he's not going back to the peak after the injuries. I mean, again, I think he fits more into what the offensive scheme is going to do this year rather than what they did last year.
Well, this is where we are. We're on a live chat, YouTube, Cowboys and Coffee, and we're having a good time. We're getting some people from Danbury. Last time I dealt with a Riley talking to me about a football game was a while ago, but we'll listen to any of those Rileys. I think they know a little bit about football. But anyways.
I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it will be a fun night. I'm predicting 3 big trades, not just trades, not flipping. I have three big trades that will happen. And one of them I do believe will be the Philadelphia Eagles.
Really?
I would say that if you're asking me, okay, well, what's it going to be? Broncos, Eagles, those are 2 teams. And I'm going to say the Broncos, Eagles, and
are we going live tomorrow night at the draft?
Part of it. Not the whole time.
Okay.
But around the Cowboys pick, we'll go live.
Okay, we'll go live tomorrow night. Live tomorrow night. Join us, Cowboys and Coffee, and we'll get to see what happens. So Spencer I'm going to get a free lunch from Spencer and free lunch from Paulie. Will Johnson. They're going to go with that defense. They're going to go. If the receiver's there, I think he's gone. I think he's that good. Because Carolina, that quarterback needs somebody to throw to, and they're going to address the defense later. And Jacksonville. Those are the 2 ones right there. Those 2, Jacksonville and Carolina.
Carolina, towards the end of the year, started to put it together, right? They have Jalen Coker, who came on excellent end of the year to pair him with Xavier Legette, and they still have Adam Thielen, who is reliable, and they've spent about $1 million. How do I say this? Perhaps $1 billion. They signed Chuba Hubbard, they signed Rico Dowdle, they signed Jonathan Brooks. Like, they have offensive weapons.
So okay, you draft according to your philosophy,
which is value. Which is value. Need and talent have to match.
Yeah,
right?
I go to I want the player's ability. That's why I want their ability on the field. I don't want the accountant picking my freaking player.
You have to take it into account.
I don't want my accountant picking the freaking player.
You have to account for money.
I want the talent.
You pick
talent to win.
Sure. You're not going to.
Free agent is good. Free agency is good for that.
You can do the same thing the Panthers have done and invest $60 million into the running back position. They drafted Jonathan Brooks last year. They just signed Rico Dowdle as a free agent. They've just re-signed Chuba Hubbard as their starting running back. They're investing a ton of assets. How are you having 3 running backs play? You're not. There's no reason to invest that money in that position. It's a poor use of free agent of your money. There's only so much in the pie.
Right.
But I'm not paying 3 running backs.
No, that's wrong. Yeah, they
overspend. Look at it. The money matters.
They overspend the money. Yes.
And there are 3 receiver offense on top of it.
I totally agree with you.
So part of it does matter.
I didn't say it doesn't matter.
It's value. It's talent and need.
We're talking about draft and talking about free agents.
That's fine.
Yeah, the free agency.
They drafted Jonathan Brooks last year, and then they went out and signed another free agent. Why would you do that? 2
That's why
they're running back free agents.
That's why they're not getting anywhere.
That's why they need to go ahead and draft defense, because their offense they put money into. Their defense stinks.
Will Johnson corner.
There's no way. What am I getting for lunch when Haven chicken from Norwalk? Haven chicken.
All right, where am I going to get?
That's what I'm eating. Well, you're paying for
it.
When the Cowboys don't take Will Johnson.
Yeah. Listen, don't be surprised they turn around and get Simmons, the left tackle, because Brodus and Lombardi, they love that pick there.
I don't care what Brodus.
That's a sleeper in the pick because I think they're concerned with the offensive line. I think they're concerned with that. Mm-hmm.
I think they've put enough assets into the offensive line that they're going to let them duke it out in the offseason and figure out who's the best 5. Spence says I'm getting crabs from Jimmy's famous seafood in Baltimore. Thanks.
Yeah, good. Yeah, crabs. You'll get crabs, all right.
Yeah. You get crabs from the aquarium down there. You get imitation crab from the giant superstore down there.
Yeah.
From Walmart, imitation crab. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. There's the Panthers. I could see taking a wide receiver because they could use it, but Jalen Coker came on so strong last year, and I don't really feel the need, especially after you drafted Xavier Legette.
What do you have?
He had 32 and 475 with 2 touchdowns, but his game log. From week 15, he had 4 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. 2 catches for 8 yards, 2 catches, 35, 7 catches for 62. I think they're going to take Jalen Coker. They're going to roll with Coker, Xavier Legette, and Adam Thielen. Thielen still catches the ball.
Is this staff going to be better than McCarthy's last few years of picking?
Yeah, I think Schottenheimer has given me so much confidence. Every time he talks, it's like he knows what he's talking about. It's like he's the most important person.
There's a feeling there. Everybody believes in him. It's a strange. Why? It's a very charismatic thing, and that's what the players love. Now, that's all great when you like your manager, but does he know what the frick he's doing?
Well, let's look at this.
Okay, does he know what he's doing?
Micah's in a contract negotiation.
During the game.
Sure, absolutely great point.
Yeah.
Micah's in a contract negotiation for a long-term extension with the Cowboys, which they'll figure out at some point. It'll be done before the season starts. Should have been done already, but that's besides the point. Micah could have very easily skipped voluntary workouts. He's there. And he credited Shoddy for talking him into being there. So
that's a big different tone there.
That's a huge thing.
Big thing. Yeah.
That's just me.
Listen, look at the coaches they brought in. All the interviews I saw, nobody cracked a smile. They were as serious can be about what they need to do and what's in front of them.
Yeah,
and I don't think there's a lot of Super Bowl winning people on that team.
Correct, but they're all business. Junior Adams is tough as nails, and he comes very highly respected from these guys like Puka Nacua and all them. Clayton Adams, the offensive coordinator. EJ, what's good, bro? Glad you're here. Ken Dorsey is the pass game specialist. Mm-hmm. I forgot. Offensive line coach Connor Riley, who comes from Kansas State, has done an excellent job. I think that's another huge win. Getting him there. Lunda Wells, keeping him as the tight end coach was huge too. He's done an excellent job. Matt Eberflus is an excellent coordinator. He's not a great head coach. I'll take him as coordinator. Overstreet as the secondary coach. I think these guys will do just fine. And Aaron Whitecotton as a D-line coach. I think this is what he has gotten a lot out of some of his talent. And I'm ready for these guys to put it together. It's time to get to work, baby.
Well, are they part of Parcells' staff and the part Jimmy Johnson's staff that were incredible coaches on the this is what because that's all part of it too. Who's calling the plays? And my understanding,
Shoddy's calling the plays.
He's going to call the plays. In history of play calling with the Jets, I don't think they had a top 10 offense, but what tools they had there, I don't think they were the best tools. But we'll see. We'll see. And after the first 5 games, I want to go 5 games because the first 2 games with this preseason playing 2-hand touch preseason, you don't get your game ready to the 5th game. So they better be 3-2, at least with a winning record.
Yeah, they got work. They have work to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who's the pick that you are upset with at 12? Who do they pick and you're like, you stupid idiots? Why would you do that? Like, who realistically? Like, they're not picking Shedeur. I mean, if they're not picking Shedeur.
If it's Ty Warren, I think he's going to be great. That would bother me because I didn't like the pick 3 years ago with the tight end. No, I don't want Ty Warren. Yeah.
Okay. I probably would not want Jihad Campbell there because linebacker's not a premium pick. He's not an edge
and he's
rusher.
Supposed to be good. Right.
He is. He's also got an arm injury coming in with an injury red flag. Not a bad kid, not by any stretch. A great blitzer, good in coverage, but I don't think he fits the defensive scheme. And I don't think there's good value at linebacker 12 if you're not rushing the passer, or you're not going to be all pro. You have to be all pro at that place.
Dez fell to them. CD fell to them. But they do have a history that pick drives you crazy.
Dallas drafts best when they take the best value on the board.
Smith, was he a first-round draft pick?
Which Smith?
The left guard.
Yeah.
Okay. And people, what did they thought of that pick?
Thought it was a horrible pick. The same thing with Travis Frederick, who, if he stayed healthy, would have been a Hall of Famer.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why I think it's a Will Johnson with that defense.
Tyler Booker, too, I probably would be like.
Yeah, Booker. Yeah.
Who I think will be an excellent guard, but he is not a fit for this offense. You have to move. You have to pull. You have to get up in the shoot and get blocked in that next tier. He can't do it.
What is our percentages of players of need? What do you think Dallas is? Do you think it's the receivers that number one need, the running back number one need, the cornerback? I think it's corner.
No, it's wide receiver too. You have to be able to score in the NFL. You have to have, unless you're Tom Brady, Dak is not Patrick Mahomes. He's not. He's not Josh Allen. He's in he's in the second or third tier quarterbacks who need weapons around him to show how great he can be when he has them. He cannot do it without them. But when he has them, he is as deadly as they come. You need wide receiver too, because you cannot walk into the season.
They let you down on who they're going to pick. That's the tendency with the Cowboys.
No, they don't. Did they let you down with CD or Dez?
No, but because it fell to them. That's why they couldn't pass on that.
They picked because there's great value. Yeah, they needed the receiver.
They all
had talent there.
You better be lucky.
They drafted there.
They drafted because they fell. Nobody picked them.
You need a player. There's talented player.
Who was Smith? He stunk in college. He was holding all the time.
Yeah, and now look at him. He's all pro.
And he's going to even be better.
Right. In this offense, he will be.
He's going to be even better.
EJ said, draft a Longhorn not named Quinn Ewers. You'll make a great pick. Listen, Quinn, the Cowboys, I definitely think we're interested in a drafting quarterback, but by trading for Joe Milton, they will pick up a free agent quarterback. I'll be shocked if they take like a Dylan Gabriel, who I thought was definitely in the running for them to take in like that 5th round, but they're not going to take a quarterback now. Milton's their guy, is their backup. He is signed for the next 3 years. That's where they're going to go with. Yeah, so and Spencer said if Tolbert's wide receiver 2 week 1, I'll cry.
Yeah.
Marion Banks and Golden are all very good. We're not sold on Golden.
No.
If you're coming on a little later.
No.
He's not a great route runner.
No. The 4.2 speed is not – he should look like Deshaun Jackson, and he doesn't.
Is he Steve Smith?
No, Steve Smith got up the field.
He's a vertical threat.
Steve Smith
went by people and had excellent separation.
Yeah.
So I don't see that with a guy who has 4.2 speed.
All I saw was –
that's track speed,
run
it's not football speed.
10 yards and cut to the outside.
I agree. Or kind of like loop outside and then run upfield. It was schematic. And I did not like his routes.
And he wasn't blown by taking the ball up the field. It's after the catch, he got tackled.
Yep.
You run those sideline stuff like that, you're going to get tackled. And he didn't. Steve Smith was tough to tackle.
Very difficult to tackle.
Yeah, on top of it all. He played like he was 6'5".
He was tough as nails, man.
Oh,
Steve
absolutely.
Smith was tough as nails.
He was a gamer. He got thrown out of the game against the Cowboys, though.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So
right. EJ said contested catches. I didn't see a 4.2. Right. He ran a 4.29.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
No, he doesn't look 4-2 on the field.
Spencer, the slowest 4.2 player of all time in the
Yeah,
field.
he's not a 4-2 on the field.
Yeah,
he's
sorry.
not Deshaun Jackson.
That's why
Look at his tape, Johnson. He blows by.
People were talking about Ashton Ginty ran when he ran.
He likes that. You know what he was like? That receiver for Danbury Semi-Pro team.
Spencer Cortez.
Yeah.
Slow. It looked like he was running with concrete feet.
Yeah, what was the name of that team, that Semi-Pro team?
Danbury Militia.
The Militia. That little white boy.
Militia.
That little white boy doing that little catching, and then after the catch, after the catch, taking 5 steps and getting tackled.
Ooh.
That's that little militia boy, Spencer Cortez.
Ooh, my man was running like he was playing.
He got 9 catches for 64 yards.
My man was playing like he was on NyQuil.
He got 8 catches for 55 yards.
Some pitches, David Wells was drunk as a skunk. Had pitched a perfect game. What's his name played on cocaine? Well. Spencer was playing on NyQuil.
He was on NyQuil.
Man, was NyQuil.
Yeah, that little white boy militia.
No,
because I know he used to average like 4 catches a game. He'd get 4 first downs.
Spencer,
I get it.
Spencer has scored 8 touchdowns in the slot. Spencer was playing like Forrest
8
Whitaker.
touchdowns.
Spencer was playing like Forrest Whitaker looked like.
8 touchdowns.
Half NyQuil, half Dayquil.
8 touchdowns. 8 touchdowns. Mommy got 8 touchdowns.
We're playing against the crazy melon heads from backyard football.
What was that Papa Rock team on the Pop Warner?
Aspetuck.
Spencer got 8 touchdowns. Aspetuck. Peace. They still have a team?
No. They don't even have a city anymore.
That's right. I'm sorry. You had a career. That's like Papa Rock.
Man said Forrest Whitaker.
So you know what happened to Papa Rock? Those kids had to go to Oxford. They switched and that ruined that. How good they were?
Yeah.
They were big. All those guys went to Oxford.
You just relax on my guy Spence.
Oh.
EJ, we'll send Spencer to you for a therapy session.
Yeah, I know.
We'll send him to you.
I know some other people will be defending him.
Well, we sad.
Some of them Texas boys will be defending him.
We sad.
Yeah.
Quinn Ewers, I'm not taking this in this draft. Sorry, buddy. That's not happening. Is there one player in this draft, not necessarily for the Cowboys, but overall, who you're like, keep an eye on this dude? Like, I like him a lot.
I'll tell you what my favorite player is. The Giants are going to get him. He's going to be great in New York.
Abdul Carter.
Yeah, he's going to be
sure.
He's going to be great in New York. The name, they're going to compare him to LT. He is going to be really, really great. Oh, he's going to be in Madison Square Garden, the whole show, going to the games. Nick games, you'll see him everywhere. Yep. Absolutely.
They got a quarterback. They're going Russell Wilson, who's throwing freaking moon balls, Uncle Charlie curveballs in there, and Jameis Winston, who...
Yeah, you can't pass that guy up. You can't pass him up, though.
Jaden Blue, right? I could see him for sure. If I have a guy who I'm pounding the table for, my favorite is... What's the guy who's like, oh, these are my favorite players? And he picks like the top players in the draft every year.
Yeah.
Not Charles Davis.
No, the other
one. He
one.
worked for the Eagles.
Yeah. What's his name?
Oh,
what's this? Mr. Obvious, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what's his name with the glasses? Does he have glasses? No. That's yeah.
What was his name? Oh, Louis Riddick. They're like, Louis Riddick, who's your favorite players? And he picks Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, to freaking Travis Hunter. Like, no kidding, dude. Wow, really, way to really stretch yourself there. Every year he picks the top 5 players and 3 other first rounders. These are my players that I like the most.
Well, I think another guy is going to be a star, and their first round grades is Starks, the Georgia safety.
Malachi Starks.
Yeah,
I actually
that's a safety.
Yeah, Louis Riddick. Louis Riddick is the guy. He always picks the best players every year. He's like, Oh, you know who I like in this draft?
But when he starts talking too, he goes on and on.
He's
and
a
on.
bore.
I ran to the mall and came back one time.
Believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Xavier Watts, the safety from Notre Dame. He picked up football late. He's 6'2", 204. He was originally a wide receiver, and he can cover the field. I just think I got to lower the shades here. I like him a lot. I think he's a second-round pick, and I would definitely take him if I needed a safety, and put him there for me. Listen to me. Xavier Watts will be a Pro Bowler in the NFL. I'm going to say 3-time Pro Bowl. Xavier
It's
Watts.
almost it's quarter to 7.
Yeah, it's time to wrap it up, baby. We've been here an hour, 15 minutes.
All right.
This is our 50th episode.
Thank you, people.
Thank you for watching us. Listen, like, share, please subscribe. We're trying to get up our follower count, our subscriber count up so that we can continue to do some other fun things here. Tell you what, if you comment on one of our videos over the next week, you will be entered into a drawing to win some Cowboys and Coffee merch. So you have 1 week. Put your name, comment on one of our videos at some point. We'll get the notification. We'll enter you into the drawing. And then we will get some merch out to you, whoever the winner is. So thank you for watching.
I would sign it, but you wouldn't understand my writing anyway. So it's between ancient Hebrew and stick people.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody. God bless you. Go Cowboys. And tomorrow, let's come home with Ted McMillan, okay?
All right. Peace
Love
out.
you.
All right, love you.
See you.
Bye.
Peace.
I need Rosie. See, he's trying.